Most people say they're switching up their niches. So for this episode, I ain't gonna really say niches 100 times over. Your niche, that is what your subject matter is. I'm gonna refer to the niche as your lane because people are pivoting out of their lane. And that's why they say stay in your lane. They tell themselves they're being strategic. They say they're following the data. Some people convince themselves the old direction wasn't right. Nah, this wasn't working. Before you even tried it and failed at it, you start switching up, getting out of your lane, and you getting in somebody else's lane. They talk about the audience wasn't there, that the topic wasn't hitting like it should have. It should be viral. It should be viral. I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Sewing up your own hats from scratch. That should be viral. Everybody want to talk about putting rims on cars. But sometimes that's the harsh truth. Most of the time it isn't. Most niches change. They don't come from clarity. Nah. You picking this lane, you picking this niche comes from insecurity. You don't feel secure. You don't feel you can win, so you got to kind of align yourself with something that will win, that will get to the bag. You know, that's how you find yourself saying, I got 5 tips on how to grow your YouTube channel, and you got 200 followers. And now you starting in this lane. This is not even your lane. You can hear the little, when you go on the freeway, you hear the little dividers, the little reflectors in the road, and a boop, 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 when you getting out of your lane. So the growth slows, engagement dips. A video underperforms, and suddenly the niche feels wrong. The whole direction is questionable. I gotta do something different. This don't feel right. So instead of sitting with the discomfort, content creators reset everything and start all over from scratch. This gotta work because now we talking about surfboards with wheels on them. People love surfing on land. They skateboard. Why not a surfboard? You go in a whole different direction, and you see what you're telling yourself, that there's an audience for that. You don't even watch shit about that, but you think there's a lot of people that do. You switching your niche. That reset feels relieving in the moment. It do feel better. It feels hopeful, especially when our hope been tested and tried. And it also quietly kills momentum. And that happens a lot. Actually, the momentum slams on the brakes because you pivoted and went a different direction. So you was going southbound, and you was gaining some speed, and you went west. And there you have it. But here's the hard truth. You're not growing because you keep switching your niches every time the insecurity shows up. And the insecurity always shows up before the growth does. That's when you start getting nervous. You might be about to hit, but nah. You got to switch it up to feel better. Early creation is supposed to feel unstable. You're putting ideas into the world before you even have proof that they work. You're talking about knowing who's listening yet. You don't even know. You don't need to know. You just need to make the content. You're building in public without the feedback. That makes sense. That's what makes sense. You're building when nobody's looking. You all the feedback gonna be distorted. It's gonna be nothing. You trying to convince YouTube themselves that you belong here. You trying to tell TikTok I belong here before you tell the people. One before the other. That uncertainty triggers doubt. And doubt whispers, maybe you picked the wrong topic. Maybe someone else is doing it better. Or the audience isn't big enough. Maybe you got to go with what's big, what's hidden. Or you missed your moment. Maybe. But I ain't going to try to fear-monger you. Nah. Make the videos. Those thoughts don't mean your niche is wrong. They mean you're early to it. Most people misinterpret early discomfort as misalignment. They think something's broken when it's actually forming and morphing together. Switching niches get an illusion of progress. It feels like action. You taking action. Yeah, this is it. This gotta be it, right? Don't y'all, there's audience for that. People love watching movie trailers in the movie theater. It feels like you controlling your outcome now. You gaining back the control you lost. That uncertainty didn't feel good. It gives you a new story to tell yourself about why things weren't working. But every reset comes with a cost, my friend. You lose context. You lose that pattern recognition that you was slowly building because you gotta build it. It's no viral thing that you gonna just do and it's hey viral and it just goes viral. You lose the compounding trust that you build with yourself and with the algorithm. Audiences don't connect to niches, they don't. They connect to continuity. Continuity allows people to understand who you are and what you stand for and why they should come back and watch more of your videos. But when you keep switching directions, that signal never gets strong enough to hit. The algorithm feels that the confusion is happening because the people are confused. People don't subscribe when they're unsure. Nah. They don't know what they're subscribing to. And another thing that fuels the niche hopping is comparison. You see someone else growing faster. Look at them. Growing faster. They views taking off. But they in a whole different space. Their comments pour in. Cool. Confidence looks effortless. Dang, it must be what they talking about. Suddenly your own lane feels small. I need to talk about that because they just want them for that. So you question it. Comparison rarely leads to better decisions. It leads to reactive decisions. Reacting to what you see and what you're doing. You don't see their early phase. You didn't even pay attention to that when they first started. You don't see the months or the years of consistency before a momentum arrived. You see the result without the runway. You just see them in the air. You didn't see when they just took off and was out of here. All that work that taken to get a plane off the ground, switching niches in response to comparison, it resets that runway right back to zero. When you was getting that little momentum, the plane is starting to get some speed, switching it up stops it and starts it all over again. You have to. The algorithm got to know you. Everything got to get the re-knowing you. It starts from zero. Like if you just met a new woman and try to get a loving forever relationship, you got to start from the very beginning. That's a trade most people don't realize they making. Another layer sits underneath this pattern though. Switching niches, getting into a different lane, lets you avoid being judged in one place for too long. And that, yeah, the judges, man, these dudes, whoever they are, they be hurting feelings. The judgers, I hope they can sleep at night. But staying in one lane long enough to grow means people start to recognize you. So that's the good part, even when it's nervous. Recognition creates expectation. And then the expectation that people has, it starts to create pressure. Pressure that you have in your own mind. You know, what you creating, that they waiting. You know what I'm saying? Look at them. All these followers, that mean you think 5,000 followers are online right now with their phone in their hand like, post something, I dare you. Pressure makes insecurity louder. Makes you nervous. Switching them niches feels like an escape from that though. New audience, new slate. No one knows you yet. Oh, cool. I don't mind starting from the bottom. I'm going to do this. I did this numerous times. That's why I'm making videos about this. I wasted years. I don't want you to waste years. Insecurity doesn't disappear when you change topics. It follows you. It shows up again as soon as the next niche hits resistance. New niche, new lane. I haven't done this lane. Ain't no cars in this lane. You into the next lane. See, and there's no niche where insecurity don't exist. That topic, whatever you think it is, you're going to get nervous. And what changes is your tolerance. See, look at you. Your mind is getting sharper, stronger. Your tolerance for the uncertainty and all these weird things that go on in the mind, that changes in how you sit with it. Still another reason people keep switching is because they expect clarity before commitment. You want to know. You want to be able to see it all the way to the end before you start. You want to see successes down the road. Look at that. Oh, that's going to be successful. Now I'm good. They want to feel certain before they go all in. You want proof. You want proof that the niche will work before they give it to you. Oh, okay. Yeah, this has got to work. I'm on now. I'm okay. Look, you telling other people, hey, you know what I'm saying? Chinese history, that's killing in the United States. That's killing. And then, no. You want that validation early. It ain't going to happen. It's always going to be nervous. It's always going to be uncertain. That's backwards. Clarity comes from repetition, not analysis. You understand a niche by staying in it long. long enough to see the patterns. You learn what resonates with others and what don't, what deepens and expands, and what drains you. You can't learn that in 10 videos. You need to do 100. Every niche feels unclear at first. It does. The creators who grow aren't the ones who pick the perfect ones. Right from the gate, I was called to do this. They're the ones who stayed long enough to shape the niche around themselves. They became the face of it. The algorithm is saying this person keeps making videos on this. Another uncomfortable truth that deserves a lot of attention on here is many creators confuse boredom with misalignment. Because you ain't feeling it. You didn't grow up on this, or you ain't passionate about this, and you bored with it. Early on, repetition is necessary. It is for all things. You say similar things from different angles. You revisit the same themes. You explore depth instead of novelty. That can feel boring to the creator because you ain't passionate about it. It's often when the audience starts paying attention. Now you bored and they just, hey, man, I seen your video. It was dope. Switching those niches, switching lanes, the moment you feel bored cuts off that depth right before it starts to build up. And the depth in that field, the number of videos you have in that lane is what creates the authority on that. You can't be authority on glass making with 10 videos. You need 500 videos, and then it's a certification that even the algorithm knows you know what you're talking about. A lot of people seen it. When they Google it, your video come up first. That's how that works. The depth creates authority. Authority isn't built by variety. It's built by staying with a topic long enough to understand it from multiple sides. And another issue shows up when creators don't separate identity from the niche, who you are and what you're talking about. You can talk, you are human. You lived a whole bunch of different stuff. You got love and children, a job, all kind of stuff. You talking about new cars and new car smell, that's that. Make 100 videos on new car smell. But you still a person, you got to separate those two. They treat the niche, they treat the lane they in like it's a reflection of their own worth, of who they are as a person. This is who I am. You know what I'm saying? Every time I do a video, it's me. No, you can work at a pizza place and talk pizzas, but you don't go home and you miss the pizza. You could be a human. And when the niche doesn't perform, they feel rejected. Personally, they feel rejected as who I am. That makes switching feels emotionally necessary. Now I need to get out of this. They hating on my shoe game. They hating on my shoes. Nah, I need to start doing videos about jackets now. You can't do that. You got to stay in it. Detaching your self-worth from the performance makes it easier. It's not who I am, it's just what I'm doing. I worked as a janitor many years. It's what I'm doing. It's not who I am. I never connect the two. And your niche is a vehicle. It's not your identity. It's what's going to get you there. This is the car. You not the car. You in the car. You're allowed to evolve within it without abandoning the shit entirely. You don't have to just totally just go in a different direction. You can just stay in your lane and then stick with it. But that growth usually comes from expansion, not replacement. Expanded on the topic, not a new topic, not a totally different topic. You was already talking sea life and sea mammals. Now you included fish. You know what I mean? You didn't go all the way to birds and AI technology from talking about killer whales or something like that. You got to just expand it a little bit, but stay in the lane. But there's also a misunderstanding about what niches actually are. A lot of people misunderstand this thing, baby. A niche isn't a prison. It's not a cage you put yourself in and you stay in and you saying, this is me. It's not that. It's actually a starting point for you providing a service, providing something that people want to consume and happily consume and learn from or entertain by, or they personalize with it. And most people define niches too narrowly. They feel trapped. Instead of evolving their perspective within the same core audience, they assume the only option is to leave. That's the only way to feel better. You got to just totally abandon the shit, go in a different lane. But in reality, the niche is stretch. Your audience grows with you When you bring them along intentionally, it just gets better. Sudden switches, though, without a narrative feel disorienting. You don't even understand it. You just had a switch, you feel better. The audience that you may have had, confusion. But gradual evolution feels natural. Gradually introducing things, like I say, it's like you trying to turn a sports car at high speeds, you got to gradually do it. It's not sharp turns in this thing. You will hurt yourself. Creators who grow long term like that, they treat their niche like a conversation, not a cage. I live this, I'll talk about this. I live janitor work, I talk janitor work with people. It's just my thing. You know what I'm saying? Still, another reason, your insecurity, how you feel, your worries and your doubts, your insecurity leads to niche switching is because people chase novelty instead of mastery. You see what I'm saying? The novelty instead of the mastery, instead of I'm the authority in this, I know this, you just trying to get the clicks. You just trying to jump on whatever everybody else is on because you want views. I know what I'm talking about in this game. And so come out at me, you want to talk about this. I'm not going to talk about tractor trucks and nothing like that. I'm talking about content creation. I'm creating content. Let's talk about it. A person at work. But novelty, that feels exciting though. It's exciting. They getting the views. It's on. New ideas create a temporary motivation boost. And it's just like, damn, everything feels possible again. And that high is enough. The high might be better than success. Sticking with it, mastery is a delayed gratification. There's a whole nother level of success. It feels slower. It requires revisiting ideas a few times. It may be refining them, and it requires a whole lot of patience. Growth favors mastery. You get to master your craft, a master level, that's when things can grow at a pace that you can handle because you just really that good. The algorithm favors the creators who send consistent levels over time, consistent topics on this niche, on this field, this mastery. And then the audience responds. Consistent retention patterns start to show up. They watching till the end because you know what you're doing because you've been doing it. When you keep switching up though, switching your lanes, the algorithm can't understand who to show your content to. And that slows the distribution. It needs to learn it again. It's like you just pulled a little cord on the bus and the bus stopped. Everybody swung forward. Then it needs to get momentum to start going again, even if you didn't mean it. But more importantly, people can't understand why they should care. They don't know. Care comes from familiarity. You familiar? I care with what I relate to. Not something that's strange and new. You can lose people. But another thing that keeps creators stuck is the belief that choosing the wrong niche can be fatal. That means your channel is done. You don't make no views, you don't do nothing. But it's not. Choosing a niche and staying long enough to learn from it is more valuable than endlessly searching for the perfect thing, the perfect lane, and you just bouncing around. Learn something. And then once you learn it, you will know that this don't grow and that knowledge might put you in alignment to find the one that you can stick with, the one that's passionate, remember, that connects with you where you could talk about it endlessly. No niche reveals its potential immediately. It doesn't. Don't expect it. And if there's a crowd there, it's oversaturated. Find your lane. Stay in your lane. Every single niche feels quiet before it gets loud. The difference between creators who break through and those who stay stuck is patience under insecurity. I feel like I feel, but I'm going to stick it out. The breakthrough often comes after the phase where you feel invisible. It happens. It's going to feel repetitive and unsure. That's the phase most people leave. The mental game of this content creation space. The mental game is the most important aspect. But another point that deserves some clarity, switching niches frequently prevents skill stacking. Hear me out. Skill stacking. That means I'm getting dope on multiple levels. Each niche requires an understanding tone, audience pain points, pacing, delivery. And when you reset that learning curve. The learning curve that you started to learn from gets reset to learn something different. Something you think you know, but you don't. because you've been in this frequency of doing this lane, this style. Staying allows skills to compound, allows it to build up. Your storytelling improves, the delivery sharpens, your intuition grows on this. I do videos about this, I'm getting better about this. Those improvements matter more than the topic selection. Creators who stay long enough often realize their growth didn't come from changing up niches. It actually came from becoming clearer communicators within one single niche. And so, how do you know when a niche switch is necessary? Good question. Especially versus something that's insecurity driven. Like the feelings and the fears is telling you to switch the lanes, or it just, this is not working. And it happens. I switched up many niches. I came into it with things I was passionate about, but understand that some things don't have an audience. It just doesn't. And so you're not forced to stay in this because this is still a business at the end of the day. That's like if you open in restaurants and fry green olives and wrap them in pancake batter is not selling. It's okay to start making hamburgers. Hamburgers sell. It's cool. Even though this might be your lane. One question helps is, are you switching because you learned something about your new audience or because you felt uncomfortable? Learning something new and it's saying, hey, I could put this together for you. That's dope. I say go for it, jump on it, switch it up, switch the niches, but don't do it out of fear. The fear thing is lying to you. Learning creates clarity. Insecurity creates urgency, panic, rush. Urgency pushes you to abandon, jump on something new, to feel better. Imagine you feel better before you even start recording the videos. Clarity guides you to adjust and make calculated decisions and moves. If you can't articulate exactly why the niche no longer serves the audience you're talking to, it's probably insecurity talking back to you. It's probably your fears getting you all kind of discombobulated. But another helpful shift is redefining what early growth looks like. That helps a lot. Because growth doesn't always mean views. It often shows up as commitments to something and comments from people that kind of get more specific. You growing, they watching, they leaving some real questions. Viewers who return. Messages that reference older content or conversations that start to deepen within your niche, within your channel. And this happens long before the numbers move. Those are the signs that, hey, change is on the come. And switching niches resets all those signals, all those people all from scratch because you want to feel better. But staying allows them to build up. There's also value in understanding that. When you understand that insecurity is part of the process, that feeling is part of what's going on here. And that's supposed to be done. What's done, being done. I'm cool with it. But it's not a sign of change. Don't take that single way. Insecurity shows up when you're doing something that matters without full control. You don't control the outcome. It's not you. It's like shooting basketballs. A lot of people don't play in the NBA because they hated to miss 50 shots in a row. You see what I'm saying? It's the ones who making it just start to feel better about themselves, and it's the ones who practice starts to make it. You got to stay in your lane. That's creation. The goal isn't to eliminate insecurity. It's to stop letting it drive decisions. Staying in a niche while feeling insecure builds resilience, and that resilience transfers to every other part of creation. Every part, every aspect of it. And here's the reframe that helps most. You're not married to your niche. Don't take it that way. You're in a long conversation with it. This is what I'm talking about. This is what we doing. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not stuck with it. I didn't tattoo it on me. Conversations evolve and they deepen to take unexpected turns. They don't restart every time discomfort appears. It goes where it goes. Growth requires that continuity. It requires that commitment. And because that creates trust. And trust creates momentum. They trust you, the momentum builds, more people come in, start trusting the people that they trust. And if you've been switching niches every time things start to feel shaky, it doesn't mean you lack discipline. It means you're responding to insecurity in the wrong way instead of responding to a strategy. That could change. Pick a direction. Pick one that you can commit to for long enough to learn from. Give it time for it to form patterns. Analyze, understand, allow yourself to feel uncertain without reacting to it. Because most creators who eventually grow didn't find the perfect niche. They stayed long enough to make the one work. Understand. If this hit close to home, there's more conversations that build directly on this one in this channel, because staying in one niche is only part of the equation in this whole content creation space. Knowing how to evolve within it without losing that momentum is what actually creates that long-term growth that we all are looking for. Thank you for watching Working Class Content Creators. Peace.